Well, friends, it is, of course, the perfect time to live stream. 4:30 a.m. on the West Coast of America. It's time for our early church service today. What I call the Sunrise Fellowship. Who'd like to fellowship with me today? Today we're fellowshipping. For those of you who don't know how to fellowship, I'll be giving fellowshipping lessons on the aft deck of the cruise ship. For those of you who already know how to fellowship, quit bragging about it. So I've been working on this song that I've been working on all night, and I'm putting up a version of it that's asking people to say, okay, what's wrong with this? What do I need to fix? You know, the hope being that hoping people have something to say about it, I guess. It's the thing.
Santa Ana's from the east are blowing, driving on this mountain fire. Grant and Lana had best be going, they had cut it down to the wire. Everywhere apocalypse hung heavy, the truck was covered up in ash. Atlanta got the dogs in the Chevy, and Grant counted out that petty cash. If times are ending, then time is mending. Flames will rain down from the sky, as the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to fight. 120 up at later day. That means cooking meat outdoors. I got distracted and fire got away. From Bradford to Arcadia now, they curse his name. Fire chased them west and down the incline until they reached the foothills below. They found a room cheap for the night online. At least now they had somewhere to go. They evaluate their options. Their former life had ended that day. Lana's sister had a place in Laughlin. There wasn't really any more to say. If times are ending, then time is mending. Flames rain down from the sky, as the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays alone to cry.
Ta-da! I don't know. I'm beginning to lose faith in my ability to make anything worth anything. So maybe it's just the mood I'm in right now. I don't know. I mean, musically, I could do other stuff that I don't feel like doing that I could be very effective at, I'm sure. But, does everybody have that? Does everybody have this passion for something that they're not actually ultimately the most talented at? Like, I've got other talents that I could be developing that would be much more conducive to widespread acceptance, I suppose. Am I feeling jealous right now? I'm feeling a little jealous. I saw this video. Wow, we call it Elon Musk's fake futurism or something like that. Now, this is a point I made many times in the past, right? Like Elon Musk, Shmeelon Musk. But I guess because this guy does a better job in his video or something, he's got his video up talking about Elon Musk's fake futurism, and it's got 3 million views, you know? And then we go, I guess I'm just a big failure. I don't think that was probably the message of the video. Was that the future he predicts is fake? It's more like he's not nearly as innovative as people think in his thinking. It's not like he's coming up with a lot of genuinely new ideas. He's just sort of applying things to stuff. I didn't watch the video. You can check it out if you want. I can try to find it. I feel full of sighs and whys and highs and dies right now. And everything inside my thighs. I gotta go get a Uncrustable from the freezer. I'm about to starve to death. I'll be right back. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Oh, yeah. I think he's got a good grasp on tech stuff. Sure. And I think he's got a very good grasp on the fine art of making shit happen. Making his notions become reality. Which is probably the most important skill of all. More important than anything else. Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm really hungry. Yeah. Well, Hmm. 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 That's some good cheese. Some important cheese as well. I was really starving here. Whew. Raphael, if you could sum up your worldview in a couple of sentences, what would your worldview be summed up as? You too, Angantir. You have a paradigm? Today we're playing What's Your Worldview? What's your worldview, Raphael? What's your worldview, Angantir? If I had to sum up mine in a couple of sentences, it would be I'm not disciplined enough. I guess. We can't decide on what we have to do, but how are we going to do it? No. Well, yeah. The devil is often the details. Perhaps I don't have enough discipline. It's not a worldview per se. I guess my view of the world is that the world seems to have a cohesiveness that would not be suggested if you look at the individual components one after another. There are a lot of people out there who believe crazy things, do crazy things, think crazy things, would implement crazy policies if given the chance. Well, both those things are worldviews, potentially. The former, the former is somewhat prescriptive. Says, don't try to take things too seriously or they become harder, I guess. The second one is more descriptive of the world. I guess you could say everybody has three different paradigms: a descriptive paradigm, a prescriptive paradigm, and a normative paradigm. Don't get attached to your seriousness. Okay. I'll try not to. What if it gets attached to me? So don't get attached to your seriousness would be an example of a prescriptive worldview. It's ill-advised for your personal interest to get too attached to your seriousness. That's an example of a prescriptive worldview. Most people are inherently stupid. A descriptive worldview. I'm still young, figuring things out. Life is a game, and the more seriously I take things, the harder they become. Prescriptive. Tom Jickelson says, my view is that the world's a dangerous place and everyone is out to get you, and when they come for you, run away into the shadows. So that's descriptive and then prescriptive. First it says the world's a dangerous place, everyone's out to get you, and it tells you what to do when they come for you. My descriptive worldview is basically shit's falling apart. My prescriptive worldview, like individual prescriptive worldview, is try to be objectively self-critical. And my normative worldview is, I guess, one ought to affirm or uphold, or both, civility. If I had to say my three worldviews, descriptive, prescriptive, and normative, descriptive would be shit's falling apart. I'm surprised it's not more falling apart than it is. You know, like, I'm surprised the world's holding together as well as it is. My second one, my prescriptive one, is what did I say it was? Oh, objective self-criticism. And my normative one is civility. Did Christianity have a big influence on the industrial age? I don't know. I guess it would depend on the individual person. They were influenced a lot by Christianity. Well, what I mean normative in the philosophy sense. In philosophy, normative is a word that's used to refer to things that are related to ethics and morals. So if I say it's a good idea for a person to engage in objective self-criticism, in other words, it'll help them grow more, I'm not saying they have a moral obligation to do it. I'm saying it would be wise for their own purposes. Like, if I say, you should try out this new restaurant, it's fantastic, then I'm making a prescription, not a normative claim. I'm saying that most people have, or can have, at least potentially, 4 different frames of worldview. One is descriptive, one is prescriptive, one is normative, and one is actually predictive. I don't really operate much in a predictive worldview. Like, I'm not operating under the assumption that yeah, it's going to happen, or yeah, it's not going to happen, or whatever. So what I mean by normative then, Raphael, it's a affirmation of a normative statement as opposed to a prescriptive statement, descriptive or predictive. If I were to say, I live in a world where I'm constantly predicting the, what's it called, rapture, then I'm manifesting a predictive worldview. If I'm constantly telling people how shit is, quote unquote, then I'm mostly descriptive. I'm telling people how shit ought to be, I'm mostly normative. If I'm telling people what they ought to do, I'm mostly prescriptive. I'm a mix of descriptive and normative mostly. You're curious to the change in psychology, which allowed a massive rise in technology? I don't think it's a change in psychology. I think it's the ability to sustain and communicate ideas over time, which means people can build on ideas and yada, yada, yada. So it's not so much change in psychology, it's that once you invent the steam engine, it's not that big a leap to the internal combustion engine, right? The thing that is the case is there's a strong indication that people are actually smarter than they've ever been before, even though we tend to think of the world as not being full of the smartest people in the world, But people have gotten smarter, but that is related to what you might call metaphysical evolution rather than physical evolution. Ooga booga indeed. Back when I was a caveman, I really focused on the ooga class of verbs and the booga class of verbs, which are two of the most popular classes of verbs in the caveman lexicon. The gap's getting larger from between smart and dumb, is that what you're saying? I really think it's a matter of like type, I see it as a challenge because it's like on the one hand, there are certain things for which I would like to be able to say, well, the reason I'm more qualified is because I'm more intuitive or more intelligent. But if you say something like that, you incur this massive pushback because nobody wants to let you get away with saying you're smart. Other people can say I'm smart, but I can't say it. I'm not allowed to. That's bad FE. So I don't know. It's probably going to be a pretty short live stream because I think I'm going to go to bed rather than take more Adderall. I took it yesterday when I first got it. I took the normal amount, but it was kind of late in the day, so I stayed up all night, It's better to show you're smart than saying it. Well, it depends what kind of thing you're going for. It's like what I'm talking about specifically is the presidency. It's like it's a relevant factor that I'm intelligent and intuitive. Because I can't necessarily. I have a limited amount of time to spend conversing with people, right? Out in the world, presumably. Well, I mean, it's like, think about it this way. It's a tricky business because people come in here and say, in all earnestness, out of their earnest frustration, man, the world is full of idiots. You know, fact is, around here, I learned a bunch of pretty smart people. You know? How do we distinguish who we are from who we aren't? Do we just say, well, we're the more useless half of the people, or 10th of the people, or whatever? We just sit around and chit chat all the time. It correlates with no skill or no ability, nothing of any redemptive quality at all. It's just, we're the lazy people. Raphael, I don't think you're really working with me here. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. So, how do the people around here look, there's no disputing the fact that C.S. Joseph has a lot of gullible people who bought into his shit, right? So most people here probably don't ascribe to C.S. Joseph stuff for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is he wildly mistypes people all the time. So how do we differentiate between the kind of people who are prone to, who are susceptible to C.S. Joseph style bullshit, for example? Gullible, I guess. I agree. I don't like the ontological assault of calling people dumb or calling myself smart or whatever. So what term should we use? Intellectual? I hate that word. Smarty talk guy? I don't know. I guess we're just the intuitives. That's what it boils down to. It's not so much about intelligence. It's the fact that everybody here, to some extent or another, values intuition. They like things that are insightful, meaning-driven, aware. I hate to wrap this up so quick, but I suddenly am very tired. I think I'm going to go lie down, sleep for a little while. So, thanks for being here, everybody.